welcome to Ask Me Everyone. I'm sorry for the late notice this morning, but I do have a fascinating interview with you. I've been waiting to interview this person. This person has been on my interview bucket list for, I would say, about a good year. I would say I contacted this person last year, and she goes, I'm not ready to do this. And so when she came back to me and said, let's do this, I grabbed her, and I said, let's do this. And I'll be on her show on March 19th, explaining my story. So we may not do the questions at the end of her asking me questions, because she's going to give me an hour of her time on March 19th. So I'm going to let Miss Elizabeth of SW take it away.
Hi, Wynn. Thank you so much for having me on your beautiful show. I really appreciate your time and your energy and your incredible patience with me this past year until I got good and ready, as you say. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome. And so, okay, my first question out of the chute is, how did Best Ever You come about?
So Best Ever You came about one day when I was sitting in an office. I have a pretty extended career in the financial services industry, and I'm a mom of 4 boys who are now 16, 18, 20, and 22, and at the time they were much younger because Best Ever You is about 10 years old now. And I went back to work for a little bit, and that was what I did. I went back to work for a little bit, and one day I designed the business plan for Best Ever You kind of behind a closed door in my office, and came home and had quit that job and started Best Ever You. And it was just on the premise of there's got to be something better out there and a way to really help people be their best. And that's how it came about.
So basically, you worked in corporate America. You were hiding Best Ever You behind that corporate America office door, and you said, forget corporate America. I want to come up with the concept of Best Ever You.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I really wanted to. It was funny. I spent a lot of time at home with the kids thinking I wanted to go back into corporate America. I got there, and I'm like, oh, I want to be home with the kids. So Best Ever You has been a really neat blend and a very good model as far as a company goes for working from home and having children. And it's been a learning curve, but it's been wonderful, and it's allowed me the opportunity to both work and keep my skills sharp and have my family here.
Oh, my God. So you wrote a book with the same title. And so did the book I'm kind of asking a chicken or the egg question here. Did the book come before the Blog Talk radio show, or did the book come after the Blog Talk radio show, or how did that work?
So I'm an author with Hay House, and I love them, and my book is called Percolate, Let Your Best Self Filter Through. And it was published April 14th of 2014. And it's sort of been a lifelong dream, so I'd say it's been with me the whole time, but where it really came about was even before really Best Ever You. It came about when my father had a stroke and was in a rehab facility, and he had a brain bleed, and they were doing some memory testing with him with the alphabet, and he basically rattled off. The nurse said, "What word comes to mind when I say the letter A, B, C, D?" And he rattled off aardvark for A. And then he went into like this series of really inspirational words. He was like benevolence, courage, determination, excellence. F was a swear word, which I've changed to faith. And just all these inspirational words. And I kind of took out my journal and wrote down Percolate, basically. It was a sort of a really bad drawing of a teapot with letters coming out of it. And Percolate was originally sort of the alphabet of life. and morphed sort of into percolate. I had written the word percolate down, but I didn't know how it all related, and that's really where it came to be, was that moment, and I had been working on it ever since. So before the radio show and before Best Ever You, there was percolate.
Yeah, there was percolate, and that came from your father. And, well, they know this now. My fans, know that I developed my first, book in a text account basically after saying goodbye to someone in medically induced coma. Let's just put it that way. And that person was my biological mom. And so I kind of, like you, was in the situation thinking, oh boy, what am I going to do now? And let's write a book. That's the next best step. And so I am really happy that your father decided to rattle off these words to that nurse and started the Best Ever You legacy.
Yeah, I love what you did too, because you really take a moment that's not so happy per se, and you sort of flip it all around, and I think we heal when we share our stories, and that's what I love about writers, authors, bloggers, and so forth. You touched lives.
We do heal.
Your story, and I just absolutely love that, and I think the world goes round and round with hearing that you're not alone.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm presuming Hay House. For those of you who have heard of Doreen Virtue is a huge Anglican reader. Doreen Virtue is a huge manifesting of life person. She lives in Hawaii. She does animal rescue. She's with Hay House too. So you might have heard of Hay House because of Doreen. So for those of you who are thinking, what is this Hay House thing? You must Google Hay House. They have a podcast. I know that. And Doreen Virtue has a YouTube channel as well, and she's absolutely amazing, the Anglican meetings that she does. So if you guys are more interested in Hay House, Google them, and they're very picky when it comes to their authors, I know, but Elizabeth is very lucky to be with Hay House.
Yeah, Doreen Virtue is a beautiful person. I've met her in person, and a lovely soul and a really great person to follow, and her work is so meaningful and it touches people's lives. And it was funny when I first met her, I felt like I had a camaraderie with her because my book was all fours. I'm a mom of 4 boys. It was published 41414, and it's all about angels and all this stuff. And she was really open and receptive and kind when I met her, and the people that surround her are all lovely as well. Very nice person.
So, okay, why did you decide to go with one of the big publishers to publish this book?
So I'm now 48, and it's been a lifelong goal of mine to write books since I was in kindergarten. I just always loved reading and writing, and so one of my goals was to actually publish a children's book by the time I was 40. So I actually have 2 self-published books prior to this one. 2 children's books, Blueberry and Pinky Doodlebug, and they're illustrated children's books, and they're independently published. And honestly, I love both ways of publishing. It just depends on what you want to do, or maybe luck. I don't know. There's a lot of luck involved too, I think. I loved Hay House. I loved the concept of I love the concept of all they do in the realm of self-help, and I think Reed Tracy and Louise Hay, rest her soul, and Wayne Dyer, rest his soul, just were doing a wonderful job, and my book was just a lovely fit for, their bigger picture, really. And so you become sort of part of their Hay House family, and it's just been so much fun. But that's, it was funny when I first put Percolate out, I was thinking I was going to self-publish a third book. I had the book all done, completely done, thinking I had it completely done anyway. And somebody read it and said, this belongs at Hay House. And Reed Tracy said, yep, it sure does. And here's an editor, and they fixed it all up and changed some things. The basic text is there, but it's organized differently. And it took a couple years to put out into the universe.
So you
Does that answer the question? I hope so.
Yes. You had a self-published book. You had a self-published children's book, and then you were going strictly self-publishing, but then you decided, someone read the book and decided for you, basically, that you needed a mainstream publisher.
Yeah, basically. But, I think in today's realm, you can do anything you want to do. I think what you have to be really mindful about with publishing books is that if you have the fortune to go with a traditionally published type situation, you need to really remember that you sort of give up control, you're giving up rights, and it takes way longer to get that book produced than it would if you're doing it on your own. If you do self-publish, you maintain control, you maintain your rights, you maintain everything, and you might even get a little bit more income from it because it's quicker.
Well, I've been in the self-publishing industry for 7 years now myself, and I am trying with my next book, which I will give you the working title of it, The View from Off Fabric. With my next book, I am trying to get one of the mainstream publishers to pick me up, which that's taking a little bit longer than I wanted. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's
it's
okay.
tricky.
So,
it's tricky. What I would say out there to everybody
tricky.
wishing for traditional publisher is to make sure you have a platform in place with which you can sell your book. Even with as large a platform as I have, it's still very difficult to get people to hit the buy button for your book. I mean, I've been trying to get to 100 reviews on Amazon now for months. I just want 10 more reviews of my book on Amazon. It's so funny. So we all have the same issues. It's just all whatever medium you're working with, whether it's self-publishing or traditional publishing. Getting people to hit that buy button is interesting. So what
interesting.
I'd love to it's funny, I really am a fan of giving away my book as well. I do a lot of placing my book around in different spots and writing like finders keepers in it and just signing it and just having some fun. So one of the things I do is I always keep maybe 50 or 100 copies on hand, and those are just freebies. If I go on a trip or if I go to a coffee shop or if I go somewhere, I use it sort of to have some fun with people, and I sometimes use it as a calling card too, here's a copy of the book. So, there's all different reasons for writing things and doing things, and I think you just have to sort of pick what works best for you. And there's really no one thing is better than another. You just have to really work within, what's happening in your life.
And that being said, what is your favorite book?
Oh, boy. You're going to, I like The Tale of Two Cities. I'm a Charles Dickens fan, but I also love the book by Dave Eggers. I love books written by Dave Eggers. It's Eggers. He's one of my favorite authors. And then as far as other books go, I really like in the self-help realm of books, I tend to gravitate a little bit more toward leadership books. and things like that. So, but Dave Eggers, I think, is probably, other than Charles Dickens, Dave Eggers wrote a book I just love. It's called The Heartbreaking Work of Staggering Genius, and it's just one of my all-time favorite books.
If you had to be educated by anyone, inside or outside your field, who would it be and why?
If anyone could educate me, like teach me something,
yes.
I love my parents. I really do. Or do you need more of like an actual teacher?
Oh, your parents are fine. Your parents are fine.
I love my parents. My parents.
You're the first one that said your parents. You're the first one that said ever your parents. Most people give me Oprah Winfrey. Most people give me Deepak Chopra. They give me all these names in the book. But parents are lifelong teachers too. Trust me.
Yeah,
parents are lifelong teachers too.
Bless my parents. Yeah, my parents just celebrated their 43rd anniversary, and they are just a fascinating example of never, ever giving up. Every single thing, my mother has just this amazing, positive, fascinating energy about her. They're to be studied, my parents. They're pretty fascinating. They're parents of many, many kids, and not only their own kids, but our friends, and, just they're really cool people. They live in Minnesota, and they're both in their 70s now, and they're just. I pretty much talk to my parents every day.
Well, parents are
funny when your 72-year-old mom is texting you too. That's hysterical.
Oh God. No, I was doing something last night. I unfortunately taught my mom how to text, believe it or not. I had to teach her how to text, and this was when she was in her early 60s. She died at 59, and so, believe it or not, I had to teach her how to text, and she was on Android, and I'm like, oh God, I have to teach her how to text. But when it comes down to it, I am so glad I did, one, and then I wish she never died of what she died of. She died of not the brain aneurysm that she went into the hospital with. She died of meningitis.
That's a bad one too. That's tough.
Contracted meningitis. And I'm getting ready to write a book about meningitis. That's going to be a trick and a half to write a book about meningitis.
There was a gal suffering from meningitis, and I'm using the word suffering from meningitis, when my dad was in the ICU unit, just total brain, having just had brain surgery mode, and they were desperately trying to save this young lady's life, and she was a college student, and oh my goodness, we thought. You always think when you're sitting in that situation in an ICU type of unit that you've got it the worst. There's a misery that sort of sets in there, and you have to really overcome it, or it can be a very sad place, because most people go into the ICU and they don't come out, is pretty much the fact. I mean, the nurses will tell you that. And I had the good fortune of my dad doing a victory lap of life about a year later after leaving the ICU. But, oh, man, the meningitis case was just heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
And the gal did not live. No.
No, did my mom. And
I'm sorry.
Fortunately, that's okay. But fortunately, they saved her from the brain aneurysm. I wish those hockey players gave her meningitis. Hockey players came into the hospital and gave probably 11 families meningitis. 11 families, and of course the hospital has never admitted. So that's why I'm sharing my story with everyone on the planet, and so everyone will listen to it. And they haven't gone sick of me yet, but to ask you another question, what is your favorite episode that all my listeners should go listen to of Best Ever You, except for the one on March 19th, you guys, with yours truly? Listen to that one, but that one hasn't been out yet. So
that's going to be our favorite one.
It's cool.
It will be. I promise you. I love. It's funny. It's like each person who comes onto my radio show becomes family, and I love it. But not to go with the most recent memory as the most favorite show because that sounds cliche. But honestly, I just did the coolest show the other day with. I'm going to totally destroy her name again. I want to say Michal Nachmani, and it's Michal Nachmani, Nachmany, and she is an artist in New York City who just got commissioned to produce artwork for Columbia University in their
how cool is that
facility. Oh my goodness! Not only was it cool, but she was fascinating to talk with. She taught me everything for a whole hour, and talk about somebody teaching you something. It was just such a lovely, deep conversation, so much more than about herself and her artwork. It was insightful. It was about her children. It was about her life. It was about her husband. I just loved that conversation. So that's my favorite one so far. I loved interviewing Ed Asner, too, just so you know. He was cool. Not everybody gets the opportunity to interview Ed Asner, and that was a light in my life, too. But, boy, that was a neat conversation the other day.
Now I have a question for you, and I'll ask where people find you, of course. If you had a bucket list of interviewers, who would be a top interviewee?
It was funny. I was being interviewed the other day on a different show, and somebody asked me that, and I got tongue-tied and couldn't answer it. So I've thought about this now, actually. So I'm going to answer this. I have two people that have come to mind this past week as people that I wish I could interview. One is Tim Tebow, and the other is Mary J. Blige.
It's so funny because my fan base doesn't know this, but I have, because you guys know I'm from Colorado, and you guys know that Tim Tebow played on the Broncos at one point, the Denver Broncos. And so the last game I went to live of the Denver Broncos was Tim Tebow's only game. And so I have got to see Tim Tebow live. Unfortunately now he's left the Denver Broncos, but when he did his little stunt with the Denver Broncos, he was good. They thought he was way too religious, but that's their fault, not his. But I can see why you want to interview Tim Tebow. I could see why.
I think he's cool. So that's cool. You got to see him. I just think he's a fascinating young individual, and I think he came along at just the right point for one of my boys and being a student athlete to really inspire him. And he's just a really cool guy. He's very well spoken and athletic and leader. He's a leader on and off the field, and there's so much more to know about Tim Tebow, and I'd love to interview him. Yeah.
Well, you never know who's listening to your podcast or mine, so maybe someone has connections out there, maybe. And also, give me a connection to Michelle Obama, please, because I want to talk to her about her piece of artwork that she had commissioned. And so, if you people have connections with either Tim McKeagle or Michelle Obama, please pass those along to Elizabeth and I, and we would be so ever grateful because you never know who's listening to either your show or my podcast. So we're putting that out to the universe that we get stuck with interviews here, and I'll even meet Michelle Obama in person if I have to, because now that she's retired, I would think she would have more time for an interview than when she was in office. And so, Elizabeth, where can people find you, and where can people find Best of the You book and Best of the You radio show, of course?
Yeah, so I'm pretty much under Elizabeth Hamilton-Guarino or Elizabeth Guarino on the internet and Google. You can Google, but I hang out on Twitter. If you're trying to reach me, I'm on Twitter, and I'm at BestEverYou, YOU, on Twitter, and I see it right away, and I pretty much respond to everything and everyone, and people know to tweet me only positive things and stuff like that. But that's where I kind of hang out. I'm on Facebook. I have a personal page that's more about my family, and that's pretty much full, but it's set to, there's a couple thousand people that follow it also. And then there's a fan page. I also hang out on LinkedIn because, it's a little bit more of a platform where business is done. So I don't hang out on YouTube at all, really. And my book, Percolate, is available wherever books are sold. I think the easiest place to get it is Amazon or directly from Hay House. And if you need more than sometimes we have bulk orders of it, like if you need more than 10 copies or 20 copies or anything like that for an office, Hay House is the best place for that.
And you guys, please go buy Best Ever You and put I Come a Win in your shopping cart too. I Come a Win is self-published, and please go buy Elizabeth's children's book. They're also self-published. And so please, let's leave reviews for both the children's book and Best of You and I Come a Win, because all that does is gets us up in the rankings, and more people discover on Credible Stories. And as I said, I will be on Elizabeth's radio show on Blog Talk Radio on March 19th. So please listen to that one either on demand or live. I prefer that you listen to it live. So
more fun live,
Elizabeth,
but whatever. Yeah, it's all good.
Well, more fun live, although if you guys listen to it on demand, that's great too. Can the Best of You radio show be found in iTunes and podcasting, catcher apps like Stitcher, or no?
Absolutely. In fact, it's syndicated at this point with a couple million downloads and chugging along. But the newest place so we're definitely on iTunes, we're on Stitcher, we're on all those things. But the newest thing that we just finally got enough downloads and so forth for and listeners is iHeartRadio. So we are on iHeartRadio, and that was a big moment the other day for Best Ever You and our podcast and all of our fans and listeners and everything. To be on iHeartRadio is a big deal. So,
well, congratulations on that.
Yeah.
So you can catch Best Ever You in your favorite podcasting app. And I'm telling you guys this right now, when you do a Blog Talk radio show it's a little bit wonky, but I'm going to try and do my best for Elizabeth because, believe it or not, Butterflies of Wisdom, aka Ask Win, started on Blog Talk Radio, and yes, I still have the archives on my website, so if you guys want to go listen to Blog Talk Radio and see how Blog Talk Radio works, you're more than welcome to do that. And as I said, I can't wait for Elizabeth to interview me. I'm so excited. So we're saving the Ask Win questions segment for Elizabeth because I want to see what she has up to say. Unless she has one for me right now, or do you want to say that, Elizabeth? That is completely up to you.
Well, it's funny. Yeah, the interviewer in me always wants to interview you, and I would love to know how you overcome things. That's what I would love to know. I think I have two things for you. I'd love to know how you overcome any obstacle in your path, and I'd love to know how you set goals.
Well, I overcome any obstacle in my path. I'm really good at asking for help. I'm really good at asking for help and putting up the red flag on the ship of when the SOS flag. And it's so funny because people, I had a person, last night I was at a local library, which, by the way, you guys, you should start using Overdrive for library ebooks because a lot of self-publishers, and I believe Hay House does this too, they use Overdrive. So I'm sure you can pick up the best of the you at your local library or have them get it in for you. They're usually good at getting books in. And I had a person last night stop me outside my local library and say, someone, and we don't know who this someone is, I'm thinking who this someone is, someone donated my original book, I Come a Win, to my local library without me even noticing, and they didn't tell me. And so this person now said I'm in the library, which got me thinking that libraries order books in all the time for people. So the next time you're at your local library, ask for a Best Ever You or I Come a Win or any of my books because libraries are pretty good and they have this system called Overdrive for their ebooks. And so use that system. I use it. I don't know if Hay House uses it or not, but I know since Hay House has copies of all their books on Amazon, just ask the library about these certain books. And if a library calls me and says, I need I Come a Win, we'll get the information, and I'm sure if the library calls Hay House or gets in contact with Hay House, which is Elizabeth's publisher, I'm sure they can help guide these local libraries to the Best of you too. I just thought about that because this person told me that about my book last night, and I'm like, hey, why not use libraries as more of a get your favorite book and read it once and then go buy it, or buy it and then donate it to a local library. You guys buy it and donate it to your local library after you're done with it.
That's a very kind thing to do. I love that when people donate my book to the library. I think it's probably one of the kindest things because it goes into the library records, that you're talking about and so forth, and it makes it available for the public to check out. So I think that's always wonderful. Yeah. I think another good place to be with
that's always wonderful too.
Yeah, and authors and readers match up pretty well also on a program called Goodreads and Hometown Reads.
Yep.
Yep, Goodreads and Hometown Reads, two other really good places to find your favorite authors and their books, or even discover new ones. Both those websites are really good.
Exactly. So, Elizabeth, I truly enjoyed your interview this morning, and I hope you guys enjoyed Elizabeth's interview with me. And as I said, Elizabeth will have me on the Best Ever You on March 19th. So if you guys are around and want to hear my voice in the background again, and this is my interview on the Best Ever You, I get to play interviewee for, which doesn't really happen. I get to play interviewer more than I get to play interviewee. So I want to thank Elizabeth, and yes, donate books to your local libraries, donate kids books, donate kids videos, donate everything you can to your local libraries, and just ask them. They'll probably be shocked when you guys walk in and say, I come and win or Best Ever You, and I'll be able to help you guys with I come and win. Hay House will be able to help you guys with Best Ever You, but or you can contact Elizabeth and say, how can we get Best Ever You to the local libraries? And you guys can tweet me and tweet me at Win Kelly Charles, WINKELY Charles, CHARLES, or Elizabeth at Best Ever You, and we will do our best to respond right away. And I hope you guys enjoy this interview, and let's make it a Best Ever You day the strongest we can and carry on. And as I said, and I keep repeating myself, I will be on Best Ever You on March 19th. So if you want to hear my story one more time, you're more than welcome to it, but the Best Ever You can be found in all podcasting apps. iHeart Radio, too, as Elizabeth said, and I thank Elizabeth for coming on and sharing her story and how Best Ever You came about. Thanks, you guys.
So much. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.